Well, happy Saturday, folks. The real Captain Kirk here. We're live from One Bethlehem Plaza here in downtown Bethlehem here on the 20th of February. That means meteorological winter is over today. Again, it was a coolish morning here and going up to about low to mid 50s here. Feels like spring for sure after the brutal cold we've suffered here this winter. Again, folks say, why do you say the real Captain Kirk? We got a few thousand new folks on YouTube, so I thought we'd explain that here. Again, date myself some 36 years ago. Had a walk with this famous general, Stormin Norman Schwarzkopf, again, and forever changed how we think. Says we need longer range forecasting and don't change your mind once you wish that forecast. So dump physics, meteorology, Rutgers, and start thinking statistics and cycles, and that's what we do today. A lot of celestial events here. It's an interesting night here. Got a few events here in a row here. So 6-planet alignment here tonight. Look right after sunset by about 30 minutes, and you'll see Mercury, probably hard to see. Uranus, hard to see without binoculars. But Venus, Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, for sure. You'll be able to see all those about 30 minutes after sunset. Then on Sunday here, again, about 7:07 Eastern Time is the launch window for Elon Musk launching one of his Falcon 9s up the East Coast. This is the last time we saw it. Pretty cool. So again, look for that Sunday evening. And then Tuesday morning, actually starting around 3:34 in the morning till about right at peak lunar eclipse here, about 6:04 actually in the morning. So right before the sun rises, look to the west. You'll see the setting moon and again, an eclipse phase. And then next Sunday here, again, we spring ahead here. So again, a lot cooking here. Thought we'd ask our robots, how did we do here? What was the winter summary here? Because ending today, December, January, February, and how accurate was weather trends year ahead forecast? So here we go. Again, it was tale of two halves, warmer west, colder east again. So again, it was actually about 1.3 warmer than last year, 14th warmest in 41 years. But again, tale of two halves. Here in the east, coldest in over a decade. So again, polar opposite the country here. Dry, number one driest in 41 years. So epic dry for the U.S. overall. Now these big maps are trends versus last year. Again, how our retail clients would look at it. And snowfall was the big winner. Snowiest in 5 years, up 5% over last year. But again, tale of two halves. Least in 41 years in the west and the most in about 11 years here in the east coast. Looking at our accuracy, so these bars are the year ahead forecast year on year, and blues are colder, reds are hotter, greens are wetter, peaches are drier. So again, every one of these bars was made a year in advance on a national scale. So I say this is the easy view for us. Daily year ahead temps, 83% right. Weekly temps, 85% right, and weekly precip, 85% right. So again, it did pretty well here for the overall trends. If you can capture those hotter weeks, colder weeks, wetter weeks, drier weeks, apply that to our Power of 1 degree technology, how 1 degree of temperature change impacts seasonal sales. So again, something like a crazy volatile electric blankets, every degree colder, about a 24% increase in winter, 10 degrees colder, 240% up. So look at that here. Again, that's how this last week of January, again, polar vortex invasion here was the coldest in 50 years, but huge, again, only 14-degree change year on year, but that was the coldest in 50 years at the end of January. So huge impact on seasonal sales and a huge negative impact on store traffic, which certainly happened. So let's ask the robots here at 360 again. What do we see for front half of March again? And it's wet. Last year was pretty dry, one of the driest in decades. Again, this year, polar opposite. Number one wettest in over 41 years. So very, very stormy pattern setting up here. Again, signs of El Nino developing here. We need it because if we look at the wildfires here so far this year, again, has been dry up to this point. Wildfire acres burned up 271% above average. This is off the scale. Again, so this is very concerning here. We still think even with some of the rain that we're going to get, probably won't see a ton of that actually in the west where we think wildfires will be pretty crazy in the southern Rockies, southwest, even California. Look at season day snowfall here again. Be ending these maps here pretty soon, probably next few weeks. But still, U.S. overall about 12% up after that big, huge blizzard. Again, East Coast most in 11 years for winter, and West Coast least in 41 years, even though they've had some heavy snow as of late in the Sierras. So looking at the snow cover here this morning, actually kind of scary how it's similar footprint to last year. Still snowy in the upper Midwest, Great Lakes Northeast, and again, not a lot of snow in the West. It's just extremely high elevation tops, but overall, this is the second lowest snow cover for this point in the season. Really cold days here, again, slightly up, again, about 1% over last year. So again, it's most in 4 years, but again, still pretty far below average on those really cold days. The weekly view here, I thought this last week with the big blizzard here would have a chance to be the second biggest week. It's only going to end up being number 4. So the big blizzard here Sunday, Monday, some of that split the weeks here, but only the 4th snowiest week here this week ending today. Number 1 is still that late January period. Number 2 is actually there middle of December before Christmas. And then number 3 of all things was late November around Thanksgiving. That's kind of crazy that was the 3rd snowiest week of winter. Look at this last week world summary here ending today. Here in the U.S., we've kind of got a little bit negative trends here. Negative 4.9 colder than last year, coldest in 3 years, still above average. U.S. was up, snowfall was up with that blizzard, 927%, most in 3 years, 15th most in 41, above average. Rainfall up 48%, still on the dry side, but again, colder, wetter, snowier. Again, not the theme we like to see for this time of year for retail sales. Warm, dry is better. Less snow is better. Really hot there in the UK, number one hottest in 41 years, and still wet down there in Brazil, wettest in 10 years. So good for their crops, again, after many years of drought. So again, we're starting to see the signs of that El Nino setting up. This is crazy, polar vortex split here. It doesn't happen all that frequently. We get a full-on split. When it's weak, we hit these potential cold blasts, and when it splits like this, we got potential for a significant cold blast. So this might be toward the telltale sign of maybe the latter half of March into April. We'll see here. It looks like a hint of it as we get toward the middle of the month. We can see it's maybe invading into the, the upper part of the U.S. and then eventually heading east and south. So again, I don't think enjoy the warmth here that we got, because I don't think it's going to end here in the latter half of March, even April. Could turn quite a bit cooler here. Again, good news is it's spring, and so it's a cold spring is still better than a cold winter. Looking at this week here, again, week ending 7 March here in the U.S., again, good week, 5.9 warmer than last year, warmest in 34 years, second warmest in 41 years. So up and down here in the east. Again, we're going to go from cold to warm, cold, even some snow here in the northeast. Snowfall, again, down about 41%, ninth least, and rainfall up 30%, fourth wettest in 41 years. So this see a little sliver of snow going through the Midwest Ohio Valley that could make its way into the northeast here. So look at that 6-day snowfall track here again, clipper-like system here today going through the upper Midwest. So even though it's warm, it's still getting cold enough to get some snow in the Minneapolis area. Fizzles maybe a bit here Sunday, but some in the New England area, and then again maybe some light, very light snow through the Ohio Valley Monday, and then Tuesday. We'll see. Models have been hinting at this being a bigger 2, 3, 4, 5 inch type event. Even down here at 360, probably not, but maybe an inch or two. So certainly could get a little, no sooner see the grass, and here comes some more snow. And then Wednesday, again, just lingering snow shower activity. We aggregate the 6-day trend here through the 5th of March. About 46% of the population going to get some snow, a little bit more than last year, a little bit more than the most 3 years, but again, well below average. Looking at next week here, daylight savings time on Sunday here, so it's start to see signs of this heat getting pushed to the East Coast and then getting pushed out to sea here. So again, this is an aggregate of the whole week that starts off warm, but turns colder toward the end of this period here. So 2.7 colder, even though we got all this heat, than last year's record heat. So coldest in 3 years, 6th warmest in 41, above average, but again, coolest in 3. Snowfall way up, 249%, but again, way up on not much last year. And rainfall's the big concern here, 293% wetter than last year, wettest in 10 years, second wettest in 41 years. This is also a severe weather setup here, as we have that heat with, again, maybe a glancing shot of the polar vortex here late mid-month here, 13, 14, 15, somewhere in there. So again, this could set some severe weather in the central part of the U.S. Aggregating these trends here for the world overall, again, general theme, again, you got to keep in mind because some ups and downs here, but frigid across Canada and Alaska, Siberia, pretty hot here, obviously in the U.S., and warm across Europe. Very stormy is the theme here. Brazil, South America, Argentina, U.S. Europe's a dry spot, very, very dry for most of Europe. So that's good news for them. Warm and dry, again, is the theme we like to see for retail seasonal sales. For that, folks, again, a little longer video than normal, but have a great week ahead. And don't forget, you can subscribe to this video and get in your email every week, every Saturday. Just go to weathertrends360.com/newsletter/captains-log/subscribe. And again, it's a free service. Get the blog here. With that, folks, have a great week ahead.